Hi there, my name is Robin. About a week ago, I uploaded a reel to Instagram entitled Newborn Items that ended up garnering a bit of attention, questions and comments. So I wanted to reply to all those questions and comments in a video format. I just thought this was easier because there's actually a lot of repeat questions in there. I think that this is just more convenient for everyone. So I will go ahead and stitch in that the YouTube short version of it right here, and then we'll dive into it. These are the 25 items I use to survive the newborn period. Short version. Postpartum underwear, formula, bottles, burping cloths, diapers, wipes, Aquaphor diaper ointment. These are the same thing, but this is cheaper. Baby soap, saline nose drops, pack and play, faux mattress for the pack and play, bed sheets for said faux mattress, car seat, stroller, onesies with footies, baby gloves, sleep sack, diaper changing pad, dresser for baby clothes, pee pads. This next item is optional, but a baby swing. If you breastfeed, you will need a breast pump prior to your delivery date, nursing bras, nursing pads, and vitamin D drops. Okay, so let's dive into the comment section. I'll pick a few comments and questions to respond to, and I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. So first comment is, I love the adult diapers last time. This time around, I got the Depends brand though. According to my midwife, apparently the Always brand contains chemicals that can interfere with healing down there. This user is referring to the Always brand discreet boutique adult diapers that I listed as the first item in my essentials video. If you give vaginal birth, vaginal bleeding typically continues for 2 or 3 weeks after birth. I can't remember the exact amount of time, but it's also very heavy. So women will end up using like super absorbent pads with the gauze underwear that the hospital sends you home with, or they'll choose to buy adult diapers. And a lot of women go with the adult diapers just because that's more convenient. I haven't been able to verify if the Always brand does contain chemicals that interfere with healing, but I did notice that with the discreet boutique underwear, they were heavily scented, and I was not a fan of that at all. The vaginal and surrounding tissue is already super sensitive. It's not a great idea to use scented products. When you throw in 2nd to 4th degree perineal tears from childbirth, adding scented products probably isn't a great idea in that case either. Second comment, would the onesies be dangerous to have the foot covered all the time? What if there was a hair wrapped on a toe? Wouldn't it be better to have socks on instead, or am I being insane? So no, this user is not being insane, but the concern is that if the baby has something wrapped around their toes, you wouldn't know because they're wearing the onesies with attached footies, and you wouldn't be able to see that their toes being constricted. That's never been an issue for myself personally. Plus, you're going to be changing diapers like every hour or half hour anyway. That's just how it is in the newborn phase. But if you're concerned about safety, like there's so many different options for baby clothing. So just go with whatever you prefer. Let's go on to the next comment or question. As a breastfeeding mom from Spain, I wonder why would you need pumps and bottles? I saw that recommendation in many English-speaking accounts, but I don't really get it. So the answer to this question is twofold. First of all, maternity leave is very short in the States. Because we have to return to work shortly after we give birth, we're virtually required to start pumping once we return to work in order to maintain our milk supply. So from a logistical perspective, breast pumps are pretty much required for working mothers here. Second, from a clinical perspective, it's good to have a breast pump on hand because you don't know how breastfeeding is going to go, especially if you're a first-time mom. You're learning how to breastfeed, how to position the baby correctly on your breast, and then also you don't know if your baby might have latching issues due to whatever medical conditions cause that, like lip ties or tongue ties. So if you have trouble breastfeeding in those first few days of life, you're at risk of losing your milk supply altogether. So that's why pumps are a good idea in that case. But next comment, we don't use mittens on our baby. I find that he just enjoys his own fingers too much and benefits from the sensory input. Also, if you baby wear, you're going to want to get clothing options that don't have attached footies because that can pinch their toes. I highly recommend a stretchy wrap of some kind for the early weeks and then a structured carrier for when they're a little bigger, but make sure to look into safe hip and spine positioning. So I don't have much to add to this. I didn't do any baby wearing, but I think that she is right that your clothing choice is probably dictated by how you handle your baby. If you wear your baby, I guess like the fabric of the clothing can ride up. If you have attached footies, that can pinch their toes. So choose your clothing options accordingly. Next question. Curious to know why the pee pads. Pee pads are really useful because they're absorbent pads with plastic on the other side. So they basically provide a barrier between your baby's bum and the surface that you don't want it to touch. So it's good for reducing cleanups from like diaper blowouts and pee mid-change. So we put ours on the changing table. Also great on the go if you don't trust the changing tables in public restrooms, and it's really convenient for diaper changes in the car as well. There's many other uses, but just make sure that if you do use them, you're being safe about it and you're still supervising your baby. Especially in the newborn phase, like everything's a suffocation risk, so just keep that in mind. Good Start formula. What a funny name. More like Sad Start. So I'm not really sure what this person meant. I did look up Good Start formula. Apparently there was a voluntary recall last year for bacterial contamination. I don't think any cases of harm were reported, but don't quote me on that. I didn't look into it that hard. I used a different line of Good Start formula that was different from the recalled Good Start formula. That one was Good Start Soothe Pro. I think I used Good Start Gentle when I stopped pumping. There's no way to predict any sort of formula recall. Sometimes things happen. I wish that they never happened. I wish that there was never any bacterial contamination risks, but it's something that's out of our control. Also, there is a question between like organic and inorganic formula and which is better. And I think like in general, everyone wants to give their kids organic formula and organic food, but it's not affordable for everyone. And as far as I know, I don't think that there's been any like clinically significant differences found between inorganic and organic formula fed babies. So I hope that will put any of you at ease that can't afford like the Bobby brand or whatever the other organic formulas are out there. The important thing is that your baby is fed. Next question. First time hearing of vitamin D drops. Should I get this? I plan on breastfeeding. So again, I made a mistake in my reel of saying if you breastfeed, you will need vitamin D drops. What I meant to say was that I breastfed, so I use vitamin D drops. Generally, like the recommendation from the CDC, you can look it up on their website, is that if you exclusively breastfeed, give your kid vitamin D supplementation. This comment, all I need are my boobies and a car seat. Less stuff, the better. It all becomes so overwhelming otherwise. I just wanted to throw that in because I think it's funny. The sleepers with the built-in mitts are the best. They flip over, and 2 zippers, lifesaver. I didn't find those that useful for myself. I still had to take both of the legs of the onesie off in order to properly change my kid's diaper. I don't know if there's some other way of doing it, but having a one-way or two-way zipper didn't make a difference for me, but I can see why it would be convenient for other people. How many burp cloths do you recommend having? So I promised this user that I would post a reel about this, but I think I'll just post a picture at some point of like the quantity of things that I got for my baby. You're going to start out with a baseline number of items, and then depending on what you use and your preferences, you're probably just going to buy whatever you need off of Amazon or whatever the equivalent is in your country. And if you don't have that, I'm deeply sorry. It's very convenient to have. Last question, how did you or others use the swing? I'll just read my reply back. I use the swing when I had to use the restroom or prep a meal. The constant motion soothes babies, and it came with music, which entertained him. And one thing I'd like to add is that the swing was an absolute necessity for me. I loved it. As with anything, there is a suffocation and like infant death risk with that product. So just make sure to read the instructions and properly install it if you do plan to get a baby swing. I think that is it. I hope that this answered people's questions. Feel free to leave a comment or a question below. I hope this helps. Bye.